Hi class, I'm going to go over something that is going to initially seem pretty obscure, but it gets to a larger point, and I'll lead off with a larger point, which was referenced in the Berman et al. Book right in chapter 1, and it concerns the fact that there is an authoritarian component in HR management. We attempt to sugarcoat this kind of thing. We try to be nice about it and courteous and professional. But at the end of the day, we're involved in the business of getting people to do things whether they want to do them or not. Of course, that's the challenge of the field, is to a large extent is getting people motivated and having people, right from the outset in the kinds of jobs they want to do. But you're always going to run into this challenge of how you move people and move them in the right way organizationally. Now to the obscure part, and this gets into the use of dress codes and uniforms, which do have a very powerful effect on basically getting people to identify with a certain role. So you see this very often, depends upon the organization, of course. One model is UPS. UPS, as you know, the employees, at least those on the delivery side, are wearing a uniform, and UPS is organizationally very much set up in a kind of paramilitary fashion. People wear a uniform, they are expected to behave in a very strict manner, and it's it makes sense because it is a delivery system. You can say that there is a mission involved that is very clear cut, and so they have that element to it. Of course, in most public management settings, people aren't wearing uniforms. On the other hand, if you're again kind of the grounds crew level, then yeah, there are uniforms involved. Otherwise, it is often a matter of a dress code. It can be as strict as having people wear ties and or appropriate apparel, dresses, or business suit apparel. There is that out there. But there again, you can get into kind of a what I call a passive control mode on this, and this is where creativity and maybe a little bit of cleverness can come into play. I'll give a quick illustration of this. It actually goes back to Frederick the Great, who was considered an enlightened despot. And he was a German emperor, king, sovereign. He, of course, living in Germany and being a ruler, had guards, and these guards would be standing very often posted outside of the palace and elsewhere. But Frederick noticed that his guards, on those cold winter nights, invariably you get that in Germany, would have runny noses, and they would be wiping their noses with their sleeves, which left an unsightly mark on the uniform. Hardly the mark of professionalism, particularly in a kind of military role. So what did Frederick the Great do about this? Well, he was an enlightened despot. He didn't call his soldiers out, his guards out for this sloppy look. He instead designed sleeves on the uniform with buttons on them, which prevented people from basically doing this kind of thing. And now you know why there are buttons on not only military uniforms, but on suits. I mean, think about it. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever for there to be buttons on a sleeve that are not buttoning anything. And this is a passive control mechanism. It keeps men who are, slobs at heart, from wiping their noses with their sleeves. And now you know the rest of the story. And I illustrate that as an example of how you can be clever in a passive way to get people to behave along the lines that, again, put your organizational image in the best light. So just a little story for you, and I will leave it to you to come up with some other examples. I believe you can connect this to other ways that an HR department can passively move people to behave in certain ways that, again, reflect well on the organization. Thanks.